Yeah, hello guys, and I would like to talk about astrology now in this video. I have a video about astrology, but that's more the benefits of astrology and how it can be beneficial in your own life. But now I would kind of attach some concepts, what is astrology itself, and why it's not that spooky, and why actually I'm low-key into it. Besides the benefits and all the other stuff, right? So basically, let's start with what is zodiac in general. Excuse me, one sec. I just ate a lot. I just ate a lot. Yeah. So what is astrology in general? Astrology is just the transition of the sun from one point to another, and that's it. And that's the whole astrology. So yeah, yeah, and that's the whole astrology. And only. But then it gets kind of deeper and spooky due to the fact that maybe people forgot it, but the sun's transit brings different type of energies, right? Because for example, spring gonna differentiate from summer, summer gonna differentiate from fall, fall will differentiate from winter, and winter will differentiate from all the other seasons and stuff like that. And the thing is, like, it's not the difference is not only in the physical aspect, where you have, for example, in winter you have snow and you have nothing that grows. In spring you have everything that grows and starts to grow, and summer you have everything already grown and ripe, and fall you have everything kind of dying and falling down, right? They're like the physical representations. But those, let's say, characteristics of the representation, as I named them, right? So you have in summer everything ripen, is being grown. In spring you have everything growing, so you have, like, areas and shit like that, so that's like the energies and shit like that. So you can even describe the other layers of the different representations of different, let's say, signs or different seasons, and the difference that different seasons have with each other besides the physical part. You can also kind of get to that point by describing the same characteristics that the physical aspects have, but then add to that physical characteristics, add to those characteristics, like adjectives, right? As you name, as I said before, fall, falling, and stuff like that. And you go on. So I was talking about autumn, right? Um, Dying and stuff like that. And you then take those words, those representations, find the characteristics of it, like the vibe, the so you have the autonomy, the vibe, and autonomy. Okay, okay, we'll get to that. Now let me say autonomy, astrology, and astronomy, right? So you have a word, as I said before. That describes autumn. You get the energy from that, right? That's the characteristics. That's the vibe. That's the vibe that brings everything to be. So, for example, in astrology and astronomy, that would be, or in sun transits aspects, that would be, um, sun is being in summer, or like in the summer season. That's why you have certain fruits even being able to exist, type shit like that, right? So that would be so you have a fruit growing out, but astrology would be the energy that brings that fruit to come out and shit like that, right? And the energy would be um, Cancer, Leo, and to some degree Virgo, or maybe Virgo too. So that would be like, if you go on the astrology part, that would be like emotions, but that also would be like expressions, free. Because then when you even remember yourself being in summer, sometimes everything is hot, everything is like, you have longer days, shorter nights, so you have more time to go out. The day is longer, so you have more time to live. And the life itself, as I also mentioned before in the Four Seasons video, summer is like a representation of life, so you have spring, which is birth, and then you have summer, which is life. So even here you have a representation of longer days, therefore you sleep. It's not like you sleep less, but you have more time with sun than you have it in winter, right? In the death period, you know. So you have this little representation, little thing, this little autonomy, astrology and astronomy. Yeah, I say it like that. But like that's but- okay. Sometimes it's my bad. I really apologize for the fact that I'm trying to maybe describe one stuff and then I'm jumping on the other stuff and then to describe this stuff, but then I'm getting lost into this stuff. Then I'm going deeper into that. Then I'm going here and there and then there, and I have to get back here. So you have everything scattered. I really apologize for that. I don't mean to do it in such a way. It's just like sometimes I. Just to some degree it's me. And a lot of people tell me that even like for example me doing presentations, yeah, in my school everybody were telling me like you spit bars, but like it's kind of hard to get your bars because you're all over the place and shit like that. Yeah. So, but I'm working with that. So yeah, everything will be great. Everything will be wonderful with some time. Yeah. So getting back to the astrology, autonomy, astrology, and astronomy. But yeah, as I said before, so yeah, you have let's say one of the representation was summer, as I was mentioning before, right? So you have more time to live and shit like that, blah blah blah. But yeah, getting back to the point that I wanted to put forward is that how you can also describe besides the physical factors, like you take the physical representation, you find the characteristics of it, the vibe, you know, that makes this image appear, aka astrology, as I said before. And then through this vibe you build like an image which creates this kind of vibe, right? So that would be, let's say you have life. Let's say you have summer, right? Summer, everything is growing, blah 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 blah. So that brings the energy of life, and the energy of life comes from I'm not trying to take astrology, but I think I have to take astrology. That comes from like not initiative point, but that comes from growing point, and I can only describe it with astrology at this point. You know, that or I know one of the angles, or I know the sun being at the it most highest place and shit like that, right? So you have second comings, which are different words of the vibe, but you have the vibe which comes from something too, right? From like some type of initiation that created this vibe, you know, like the root, because then you have the root, then you have the how the tree will look like, and then you have the different branches and shit like that, which are the different words and shit on and shit on. So that's you have the astronomy, the transition of the sun, the position of the sun or the planet in the sky. Astrology, what it means, which vibe does it bring, you know, what does it mean for sun to be in summer or like in Cancer, or specifically in Cancer 12 degrees or shit like that, right? What it takes, what is when the sun is being in Scorpio and shit like that, right? So you have the position of the sun being, let's say here, then that position itself is like also a time, let's say it's a point on the timeline, and it has certain type of energies to it, right? So for example, a sun in Cancer would be like summer, right? A sun in Scorpio season, that would be cold, blah blah blah. It's almost Scorpio, so you can even look outside and compare it with summer and shit like that, right? So that would be the astronomy, the position of the sun, astrology, the energy that it brings, and then autonomy, what comes from that type of vibe. So which kind of fruits come out, what does actually physically happen. So for example, in summer everything was grown or growing or getting ripe, and now in October or like no October, November, you have everything falling down and shit like that, right? So that's the autonomy part already. So yeah, getting back to astrology, that astrology is basically the transition of the sun, and just depending on where the sun is, you know, the closer it is to you, the further it is to you. That's how kind of the energies will play out. Because, for example, as I said before, in summer you have more of a day, therefore there's more time for the plants to get that sun, there's more time for you to do your things that you need to do, there's more time for you to enjoy life. You don't even have to dress that much, you can go free, you don't even have to take that much. You just put shorts on, you just take a wallet, you just take this, that, and third, and you go out. But in the winter you already have to be more secured, actually, like that, right? In the winter you already have to take in consideration when you have to go out, for you to, if you, let's say you're making video clip for your song and you want to do it during the daylight, right? When you have to wake up, therefore you'll be able to make as many takes as you want during the daylight itself. So you cannot wake up at 1 p.m. I think that's 1 p.m. You cannot wake up at 13 o'clock 1 p.m. and then take your time, go brush your teeth, eat and stuff like that. It's already gonna be 3, and the time that it will take you to get to that place and start recording it will already be like 5, 6. Therefore the sun will already disappear, right? So now here you have to take more into consideration. Now you have to be more practical, okay? Capricorn, now you have to be Aquarius. Pisces is like, as I said before, it's in the middle of 2 seasons, right? So it's flexible, and therefore I can take it in, but to some degree it's also not really a part. It is a part, but you cannot say it as stubborn, as precise maybe as a Capricorn, right? To be more plannable, be more, or Aquarius, be more like, okay, here, then I'm going here, then I'm going here, and then that's going to be alright. Where the opposing to it, signs, okay, Cancer and Leo, it's more like, psh, we're just like, oh, I'm in the mood to just sleep the whole day and then wake up and for 2 hours go outside and I will just make one take and that's it for me, and shit like that. So that's Cancers and Leos, but I'm describing them in the way that they're more free. They're more feeling and they're more free and they're like, okay, I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do. Where Capricorn is more like, okay, if I want to get this money, then I may not sleep 8 hours today and shit like that, right? So yeah. Oh yeah, and then also being more practical in the winter season. As I said before, in summer you can just put a t-shirt on, shorts on, take a phone where you have everything on your phone already, and just go outside. But in winter, you can take your phone, because we are living in the times which are more modern, and here people are not as in tune with the nature and the surroundings and the astrology and the astronomy and the anatomy as they were before, where they didn't have even lights in their houses, right? So you had to take in consideration when the sun will be at which time, so you will be able to go out and feed your animals, or like to get some wood or to get some food during the daylight in winter, and not come back when it's hella dark. Maybe you'll not even be able to find your place and you have to be outside waiting for the sun to rise again and shit like that, right? Because, so that's like the modernity got people more kind of not being tuned into the whole thingy. But it's not like you have to be, just being tuned in is just like you understanding everything without you being blinded, but not in a spooky way, more like in the way that you, let's say you're coming into a room, you're in good spirits, right? You're like, yeah, like listening to music, you're going on your way, like like that. Then you're getting into the room, and the moment you get into the room, you saw like 1, 2, 3. You catch like 1, 2, 3 eyes and shit like that, and now you're feeling some type of way. Maybe now, due to the fact that people are not as much as in tune, they'll not peep the reason of them being nervous at this point. But when you're in tune with yourself, you'll catch what was actually the initiation, whose sun was traveling through your space, or what actually what initiated that kind of thing that's within you, which made you feel uncomfortable, type shit like that, right? So you'll peep that, you'll be like, oh yeah, so at this when I came into the room with the good spirits, this first guy who I looked at, I didn't get nothing. The second guy I looked at, you don't even remember. But then the third guy, and then they're like, oh, so that was the and when I look at the third guy, I already felt some type of in the nervous way, right? And you'll be like, okay, I think this is the second guy, because when I look at the second guy, I felt something inside of me. And that's like you being in tune, you're not being blinded by everything, like, oh yeah, I think that's maybe me, I think that's maybe me, maybe the nervousness or the worry just popped up on itself and shit like that. But everything has some type of action and reaction to it, right? So some type of action you perceived, and reaction, okay, you being worried and shit like that, But when you're not in tune, you'll not maybe get to that as quick as the guy who is more in tune than you and shit like that. But yeah, getting to the tunes of the frequencies and shit like that, yeah, as I said before, like before people were more in tune maybe with everything, because not only because for them that was the only source of light, look, the only source of information maybe too. So based on that, they knew when to grow what. Based on that, they knew what to grow. Based on that, they knew what to do. Based on that, they even created holidays, like for example, Easter, the start of everything. And so on, so on, so on. Some of them didn't even change places, just the names and shit like that, right? Maybe just like a little, like few days, so it will not look as like spooky, or not spooky, but I mean like sassy in a way, like suspicious, Yeah, and yeah, in winter you have to be more layered, you have to take into consideration what's outside, blah blah blah. Before getting out, you have to put a coat on, because you'll get cold even though you have all the money in your pocket. If you don't have a coat on, you will not even, you can call a taxi and shit like that, right? And shit like that. Even the taxi itself has to take some more time for it to warm up and shit like that, blah blah blah. And here you can even peep the difference in energies, because like to some degree almost every aspects in life participates with that sun transit, because you have as I said before, you have astronomy, aka sun transition, right? Then you have astrology, the vibe, because when it's like a cycling thingy, it makes low-key more sense than when it's a linear one, right? So for example, in Indian not only mythology, but like history, their ancient history more, not the one when the Englands came in and they were like, yeah, dumped all the ideologies that they had, and they were like, yeah, you have to track time like in this way. For Indians, I think also Native Americans, maybe Chinese, and like yeah, some other maybe cultures too, they had like because they were spotting the sun, right? So they had the timeline, but they had a cycle timeline. So that was low-key based on the sun. But now you have everything kind of, you have still the four seasons in the Western culture. You have the sun going through the four seasons, doing a cycle, but it moves like that. It's not like that. The whole thing itself is just time, and it's like cycling, but you have timeline on its own, and then you have different seasons, which is like within of it, but the timeline itself just goes and goes and goes. So yeah, so that's why maybe you have let's say if you're into zodiac, you can look at your natal chart, the day when you was born. So let's say your moon Scorpio and your sun Scorpio, right? And you were born like on some specific date. And now you being 12 years old, you may peep that the date that you was born in and the cycle of your natal chart, aka your moon and your sun being in Scorpio, will be in different places after 12 years at this point, So you will celebrate your birthday, your 12th, or like let's say 20th, I don't know, it doesn't matter. You will celebrate your birthday, but the planets that go in the skies in the transition, they will differentiate from the ones that you were born in. So for example, me being a Cancer sun and being a Sag moon, the last time I had my birthday on the 3rd of July, the sun was in Cancer. Yeah, the sun was in Cancer the same degree because it's a sun transit, but the moon was in another position. So even that shows you that the dates the dates will not be at the same place every year. So you don't have this actual linear cycle. You have a time a line, and you have this linear cycles going in on that timeline as being a part of it. So that's why you may have Friday the 13th. The last year it was in October, which made more Hollywood kind of, not Hollywood, but like Halloween thematics to it. But like this year, I think it's gonna be in some other month. So yeah, I think yeah. So that's basically what I want to say. So you have linear. What I want to say. So yes, that's everything has low-key astrological energies, and I'm not saying it in a fairy tale way. It's more not in a spooky way neither. More like that it is logic because you have sun transiting, right? As I said before, you have astronomy, the sun transition. So just the sun goes around, it goes around. 1 year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, sixth year, and it just goes on and on and on. Every time it steps, and the more layers it does, the kind of more walk through is the path. So for example, when you take the wilderness, where you had no path to walk on, after like during a long time of periods, people just walking on that one path, they carved out a path on its own. The path on its own will be carved out with time. So after like, let's say, in the 40 years, when you'll get to that spot, you'll peep the path. It will not be like already just like bushes and everything. It will already have like a ground, and you'll be like, oh yeah, people walk here, so I'll walk here too. So you have kind of the same energetic, as I said, that you have different words. You take the energy of that word, and then like the over God, the creator of this thingy, and then you can peep his energy in different thingies. So yeah, so that's like, as I'm also talking about astrology. So you have the sun, astronomy, going through astrology, astronomy, everything. So you have the sun going, doing cycles, and the more tapped out it is, so then you have initiations. So the sun was here, something initiated, the sun was here, something initiated, the sun was here, the sun, something initiated. As it travels, thing is initiated, and then it initiates more. With each layer, it gets more. Now it's you. Now it's you. You are created and shit like that, right? But yeah, so yeah, as I said, the sun transits, it produce different energies, and from those different energies, different different representations, different fruits, different trees, different shapes, forms of the land, different maybe thoughts, even feelings come out to be based on the energy that one or the land or something X gets as the sun goes through this like specific location on the land and in the sky. But yeah, and therefore all these different things that we have in our life have some type of astrological energy to it. So for example, war and aggression, stuff like that, has Aries archetypes into it, right? So even, for example, when you will think about UFC, boxing, sports, and shit like that, all that thingy competition has some type of Aries adjectives, Aries features in it, right? But then you can it also goes beyond, because for example, let's say boxing. Boxing is what? Boxing is like entertainment, but it's also business, right? So you have Aries being sport, entertainment being Leo, and business being Capricorn. So you have those three energies being in one specific field. So that's how you may create different type of fields depending on what you want and what you want people to receive and blah blah blah, or what you see people are being into. So therefore you create, as I said before, some type of god, aka the position of the sun, which will create some type of characteristic, which will create some type of anatomies, right? But like for example, in this case, let's say in boxing's case, right? You take the overall god, aka astrology. Then you see what people like. You take astrology. Okay, first you look what you want to do, right? Or you want to sell it to other people, or you're interested in yourself, blah blah blah, and stuff like that. Then you peep the energies. You kind of create symbol and image out of it. That image and symbol create some type of energy, and from that energy comes different type of shit, right? So as I said before, in this case of boxing, that would be you taking the energies together, creating a symbol, aka let's say boxing. That boxing has some type of energy that people are attracted to, and that creates some type of anatomy. That creates some type of new opportunities for you to make. For example, now you can be on a bigger TV. Now you're more of an influencer than you were just before, a businessman, shit like that. Now. You have politicians popping up and stuff like that. You have politicians, some big guys, some big dogs in your surroundings. Now to some degree, everything what will be spoken on in your ring will affect other people. So you have to be more cautious with what you say out. You cannot just come out and say like fuck all the nations and the only good nation is my nation or something like that, right? They're gonna shut you down and shit like that, like real quick. Depending on where does your thing that you created participate in which other energy and shit like that, if it's beneficial or if it's not beneficial. And now here we also go to the aspect, as I said before, that you have the same kind of representations, aka the same kind of sun transit everywhere, but they just have different kind. It has the same energy, but it has different representation. So it has the same energy, but it has, like, for example, as I said, yeah, you take in consideration what is more beneficial for you to participate and what is not. The same goes into a brighter cycle where, for example, now it's on the governmental level, right? So for example, if your boxing is not doing the boxing the way that they want you to do it, then you're not gonna be up there and shit like that. But it's like different type of like, let's say, circles within circles within circles within circles within circles, but the same energy plays out everywhere. So that's why I was talking about it. The only important thingy, but shout out to though the Parliament, he kind of, if you watch me, you have to watch him. That's everything what I'm gonna say. If you are watching me, you have to watch him, because to some degree he's the one who reminded about everything of that I'm saying right now. He reminded me of that. And the thing is, like, each of us knows that we just got lost to some degree and not as in tune as we were before, or shit like that. And yeah, and we have to remind each other to get to that point where we are all good, peaceful, and shit like that, and everything gonna be stable in a good way. But yeah. So getting back to the energies and different energies and shit like that, different thingies in our thingy have different representations of different zodiacal, astrological combinations, astronomical then astrological combinations, which create an anatomical thingy and shit like that. Yeah. My bad. But yeah. So that would be, for example, as I said before, boxing, that would take maybe Aries, that would take Leo, aka the king, and Leo king and shit like that, fixed fire, Capricorn, bossy and shit like that, or like Taurus, building and shit like that, earth elements and shit like that. So that's more about energy. Even when you say wars out and shit like that, in some moments it will be better for you to use fire elements, in some moments it will be better for you to use air element, sometimes it will be more useful for you to use water or like earth element, but it all depends on the situation that you're going through. You cannot prejudge or predict the situation. When you go in and you see what is around you, and then you create your own kind of magic spells and you put out, therefore you will go through it smoothly. That's when you're being the sensei, aka sensible to the senses. Shout out to the old department part 2. You know, so that's you being the sensei. You're understanding that you're being sensible, aka you peep pretty, you're hella tuned in with the senses. You know, you feel like, okay, at this moment it will be better for me not to come out as aggressive, but more in a logical, smooth way. Therefore you'll take some air and you will take some water, you know, and you'll just put it, and maybe some little bit of fire. Therefore you'll not forget, therefore he will not, or you will not forget what initiated for you to even to create this words in general and shit like that, right? But yeah, the same thing it goes in astrology, where actually different signs are basically just the different elements with different modalities, and there is also like one of the ways how it's easy to learn zodiac signs and shit like that, and different trends, because you have 4 elements, and those 4 elements there are everywhere, you know. You use it every day, I use it every day, everything is being comes out from that shit and shit like that. And yeah, so that's low-key. This is one of the anatomies. The element is one of the anatomies of the energy of the position of the, let's say, sun, you know, the position of something, just like one position. And this position of the sun, you also have it in you. So for example, you have your joyful days, you have your dark days, you have your falling days, you have your death days, you have your winter days, you have your summer days, you have your spring days, you have your fall days and shit like that. You know, all this like astrology you have within of you, and then therefore that's how when you get to other concepts of what is within, so it's without, blah 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 and shit like that, blah 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 and shit like that and shit like that. But yeah, so basically everything is the same on different levels. It has different type of anatomical representations to it. So for example, here it would be down here it will be actual fruits that you can bite and eat: peaches, grapes, strawberries, watermelons and shit like that. Within of you it will be fruits of your labor. As you reap you sow, you sow what you reap, you reap what you sow. Yeah, so yeah, this the same shit, you know, the same shit, just different representation, but the same energy, and that the same energy comes that energy was created by something, you know. Yeah. But yeah, I was getting to the point that everything that is around us has different type of energies, and depending on what you take, you know, for example, like some medical pharmacy shit maybe would have some Libra in it, but if you're selling those pills and those coughing syrups, that's more of a business. So that would be maybe to some degree Libra, or like cancer, you know, care, or like caretaking hospital, but that's also business. That would be 2 energies, you know. And maybe here you can even because Cancer and Capricorn, they're opposing each other, you know. So maybe here you may find even the oppositions itself, where for example, yeah, fuck medical care, if the person is about to die you have to help him, you know, and not take money from him even if he's a homeless person. But business is business, you know, like yeah, love is love, but like, can we get money from that? I still have to live for something, you know. And here you have this different opposition, which you can also see in the physical world happening and shit like that. But yeah, so you have these different representations everywhere. I don't know why you initiated, why I started to say this. Ah yeah, so that's when you know with energy you want to participate, you know. Let's say you want to participate with some um, anatomical thingy, aka let's say a hospital, or like a person, or like some type of a job, some type of group of people, some type of science. You take that, find the energy of it, and then you after knowing what energy it has, you also have to understand your own shit, blah blah blah, and then you take your kind of energies and shit like that, understanding, and then putting it on a scale, balancing it out, mixing it in a pot, making it be smooth, adding some alchemy, chemistry, blah blah blah, so it will go smooth for you, you know. But if you don't know what you're dealing with, you may go through it in a catastrophical way too. So, for example, you will go into the hospital, being all sick and all being sick and broke, and you pull up and like, bro, I need help, I need help. What the fuck? You're in the hospital. You have to take care of people. But this is a private hospital, damn, bro. Like it's more about money. Here's like the Capricorn who governs our institution and not Cancer. If you came in with Cancer, and then you're trying to be all this like wimpy and like me, we're gonna kick you the fuck out. Like in an Aries way with the Capricorn's exaltation and shit like that. I think that's the exaltation. The Mars is exalted in. The Mars it falls in Cancer, so Cancer doesn't like Mars, but Mars is exalted in Capricorn, so Capricorn loves Mars, you know. So Capricorn gonna kick you out quick if you're gonna use that Mars energy and shit like that. Ah, they'll hate Cancers, goddamn. Not all of them, but shout out to the good ones. Yeah, not judgeful ones, maybe. But yeah, and yeah, when you want to participate with something, you take that energy, you be the senses, as I said before, sensible to the senses and shit like that, and then you understand how you want to infiltrate that field. You know, you create some type of thingy, your own sun transition, your own then astrology from it, and then your own autonomy from it. You create that, and then you push it out. Therefore, that anatomy, that anatomy, and this anatomy will how you call it? We had I forgot the word. Okay, that would it would be a beautiful conjunction. You know, conjuring. I didn't want to say sex. I didn't want to say conjunction. I wanted to say intercourse. Yeah. So you would have a smooth intercourse, and everything would go to your advantage and shit like that. Yeah. But also those energies you can peep. Like I will just throw out. I don't know how to name it. I don't know which track of thought, which train of thought to take for me to explain, but I'll just throw it out like that. So for example, let's say even okay, I forgot. One sec, let me drink this, or you can see how I'm drinking. This is actually a good Red Bull. It's my favorite one. It's the taste of vanilla berry, and vanilla berry, some new fruits coming out and shit like that, due to the different astrological astronomical, then astrological, then anatomical cycles. Yeah, but basically I just want to say that the different elements, the different signs have different characteristics to them, and you have to know what you're participating with, right? For example, it can even be seen in a physical matter where, for example, as I said before, in winter you have to be more considerable what you want to do, be more planning about, be more bossy about the stuff that you want to do. Then when it's in summer, like in Cancer, where you just go out like that and like, yeah, fuck it, let's do what we're gonna do and shit like that, you know. But due to the fact that we live in a more Saturnian kind of world, you know, where it's like business, layers, blah blah blah, and shit like that. Even you don't have to be worried about the light because you have the light at your home and in your room and shit like that. We live in such a world, and you have to know that those kind of things. As I said before, now people are not as in tune as it was before, you know, so it's harder to peep that shit. But it's like everything is peepable. That is that is okay. Still speaking representation. That, for example, for let's say in Cancer season, in summer, in the not in the middle of summer, but the start in like June, July, and shit like that, it may get so hot to the point that you need to cool off. And cooling off, aka cool, aka cold, aka blah blah blah, is in winter, aka opposition. So sometimes when you're being all in this cycle, in all these energies of Cancer, sometimes you need to have some Capricorn energies, because here's the opposition. You have the scales, right? You have the scales. You have two sides. You have to remember to balancing them out, to balance them out, because even everything what is good for you, when you overdo it, turns into bad, turns into poison, right? So everything takes kind of regulation and balance and shit like that, right? So even you being all around in this like Cancer season, you may get so lost to the point that like you will turn it into poison. All this life and stuff like that, you will turn into poison. Maybe in the examples of you just forgetting that you have to also build, because you, okay, in summer you have no school, in summer you have if you're like a student, you have no work. In summer you just have fun, you go around and forget about different things, right? You just go on vacations, you take holidays, blah blah blah, you take like weekends off, you go maybe home earlier and shit like that. Maybe for you on Friday you'll go drinking more times than you would go in winter and on Friday and shit like that, right? So you are more in this living mm, feelings, living, having fun and shit like that. So sometimes even in the physical matter you get to that degree so hot that you sometimes need to cool off, and here you need some type of Capricorn, Aquarius, maybe Pisces too energies, because Pisces Virgo, right? Virgo is also summer season. You need sometimes this like Capricorn, Aquarius coming, cooling you down. Like, bro, don't forget, don't forget, don't forget. Do not have to get pregnant this summer. You still have a school to finish. Blah blah blah. Don't waste all your money now. You still have books to buy and shit like that, right? Right. So you have this like cooling off and shit like that. And the other way around, you have also in winter. In winter, when everything is cold, sometimes you need warmness, right? So when everything is like about business, everything is about like, okay, I have to get home at this point, I have to get home at this point, I have to fall asleep like that, or for me to this, I have to be more plannable like that. It's cold winter, okay, I don't have enough of money for me to heat my room, like, bro, I have to find another job, blah blah. Being more plannable, right? Being more into all this, because you are not in your comfort zone in summer where you have fruits just hanging on the trees. You don't even have to have money for food. You can go out, just eat fruits, trees, blah blah blah. No animals, everybody are running around and shit like that. You have water everywhere and shit like that. Rains, blah blah blah. But in winter you don't have everything. Like you can even sleep outside in summer, right? You don't have to have a house, because everything is so warm. You can lay down in the street and naked and just like sleep there and shit like that. But in winter you already have to consider, like, bro, do I have a roof over my head for me to sleep? Do I have a heating place? Do I have enough of food? Do I have enough of light? Do I have enough of lighters for me to, in case the light will shut down, do I have even a candle for me to have it, just like in case. Even it gets to such a mattered point, to such a physical point, where you have in summer plants just growing, and they just like, you have wind shaking them, they're actually moving. But in winter you have snow which takes them over, which traps them under it, so they there is already some type of heaviness, that they cannot move as smoothly as they were moving, in summer and shit like that. Waters which are moving are frozen now. Everything what was to some degree maybe warm and you could swim in it is now cold and just makes you jump out of it and shit like that, not even enter it. The fishes are freezing and blah 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 and shit like that. Yeah, the bugs are freezing, the bugs are trying to hide some place to hide from, but nobody is hiding from that shit. Everybody are getting under this the dark side of the astrology, I know. The death part, going through that shit. And you have a lot of allegories through that, right? So winter would be the Saturn period, and Saturn is like the most. So you have sun being here home and sun being here away. So you have okay, not here like that. So yeah, sun being at home in Leo, summer, July, August, and sun being away in I think January, February, Aquarius. So here you have the sun itself, and then here you have, let's say, not the sun, you know, or the sun being the furthest, you know. So here you have, less sun, here you have a less of a light, and the one who will have the lighter will be the one to lead everybody in that darkness. So that's, you have the different allegories which you can also peep through different, let's say, the same adjectives, the same characteristics, but it will just have a different mask on it, you know, and you just can go deeper into that too. But yeah, as I said before, yeah, the different representations, as I said, that you can see in the different kind of scales, that for example in winter sometimes you need to have warmness, you know, sometimes you need to, even like if let's say you're working, sometimes you do have to put some type of feeling into your work for you to enjoy your work in general, you know. You need to have that warmness and all this coldness, you know. You okay, you're about to get some money, but don't forget that in summer you will be alone then, and shit like that, you know, and shit like that. Where, for example, as I said before, in the summer you get so goddamn hot-headed that you need to cool down and shit. Yeah, yeah. But to be honest, I think that's it. That's low-key. I made my point clear. What is astrology in general? The astrology in general is just you. Astrology is just the transition of the sun. That's it. And the energy that comes from it is a long time period that built it out path, which then affected some initiations, which then is on its, like a cycle on its own, does the same cycle but like on a more specific area, you know, and goes more and more and more. Then you have this evolution which continues to grow and shit like that. But yeah, that's the astrology. You can even think that when you will take a map, you'll just take a map, you will look at the north, you will look at the south, you will look at the east, you will look at the west, and you'll see the different representations that the sun transit brings on its own. So for example, in the south you'll have more juicy fruits and shit like that. In the north you'll have plants that suck in moist, aka moss and shit like that, right? In the west and east you can also do it on your own. Then you can also look outside how the different sun in the transitions of the sun in one day, how in the different ways how does it affect. So for example, from 12 p.m. aka, you know, south itself, or I mean like cancer, the summer part. At this point the sun is the hottest, right? So it's at the highest point and shit like that. So at 6 a.m. or like 5 a.m., let's say 6 a.m., 6 a.m., I don't know. At 6 a.m. you have the sun rising, blah blah blah. So that would be Aries, that would be spring. Then you have, let's say, summer, the highest point. Then you have the sunset, which would be Libra, like the scales, the fall. Then you have darkness, aka winter, Capricorn, and all that wintry 3 wintry months, which is like a winter season and shit like that. But yeah, that's it. So you can see astrology everywhere. It's not some spooky shit, it's just a part of life. And getting back to my video, why astrology is to some degree needed for you, because and beneficial, because you may get a lot of benefits from it and you can use it to your own advantage, even though if it's manipulative, but you will get that karma back, you know, as a boomerang. Bars. Or you will just use it to your advantage in a good way, in the right way, and you'll get good fruits and shit like that, you know. So yeah, that's basically it. Nothing to be spooky about, nothing to be scared about. Maybe let me run through how you can also learn astrology. I have like 1 minute. How you can learn it is very easy. You only need to know like 4 things. You need to know the planets, what do they mean, where they are and which signs, blah blah blah, what is home, what is away, the different zodiac signs. Then you need to know the houses, and then you need to know the different angles. But you can also, I try to explain it in my video about how beneficial is astrology. That's it from me. The video is about to end, so I wish you a wonderful day. I wish you don't get spooky about all this shit. Maybe I peeped some shit, maybe you didn't peep some shit, but you can try to play with astrology on your own, and the deeper you get into it, the more you understand it, and then you will be like, oh yeah, that's the shit. Have fun.